officially under attack. I am live inside of our studio here. I've turned off a lot of the lights in order for you to be able to see the screen behind me because the images I'm about to show you are incredibly important. This is a real event. This is actually happening. Russia has indeed invaded Ukraine, and what we are going to be watching is perhaps world shaking. Is it World War III? We do not know right now. What I will be bringing you today, and in this midnight, my time, I'm on Eastern Standard Time in America, is the information we have right now. Again, I have dimmed the lights in our studio so you can see in clarity the screen behind me. The screen behind me will show you virtually every single city in Ukraine under heavy fire right now. Amphibious attacks, aerial attacks, and troops on the ground attacks inside of the nation of Ukraine. Vladimir Putin spent the day saber rattling, saying that he intends to invade Ukraine, and invade Ukraine he did. Ukraine is now under complete and total attack. It is inside of a martial law declaration. Ladies and gentlemen, pray for the people of Ukraine. Let me show you first the CNN reporter who was nearly hit by a bomb. He is on a hotel rooftop in Kiev. You heard explosions in real time. We have a lot of footage of bombs and explosions and gunfire. And we also, ladies and gentlemen, have the President of the United States, Donald Trump, and the President of the United States, Joe Biden, who is not on television. Joe Biden, we don't know where Joe Biden is. We're not sure. Was Joe Biden asleep? We're not sure. Donald Trump was not asleep. Donald Trump was on live Fox News, and I'll play you exactly what he said. Again, ladies and gentlemen, we are live here, and I'm going to be playing you some of the most important clips about what has happened over the last hour, approximately, when Russia decided to invade Ukraine. It is 6 a.m. Ukraine time, approximately. Here's CNN, presumably getting hit by a bomb in Kiev, the capital, being hit by CNN experiencing a large blast while live on air. That's more accurate, okay? More accurate. CNN, live on air, big blast.
Oh, I tell you what, I just heard a big bang right here behind me. I thought we shouldn't have done the live shot here. There are big explosions taking place in Kiev right now. I can't see where they're taking place from this vantage point here on top of the roof of the hotel in central Kiev. And I can't explain what they are, but I heard 4 or 5 explosions a few moments ago. I don't know whether our viewers or whether you in the studio there could hear what I just heard. You could, right. So, I mean, I don't know what it is, but I will tell you that the United States has warned the Ukrainians. Yeah, I mean, I think it was, but they're quite distant from where I am now. But I can tell you that the United States has of course warned the Ukrainian authorities that it is possible that there could be strikes, airstrikes, missile attacks, ground attacks as well on various places around the country, including on the capital, Kiev. Now, I don't know if that's what we're witnessing now, but
well, it is what you're witnessing now. Kiev airport went under attack, and we had multiple situations where large explosions up the sky. Let me play you some of those. This is from a metropolitan area of Ukraine, large industrial area. You can see the massive flames lighting up the sky. And mushroom cloud there. I mean, essentially a massive mushroom cloud. They're lighting up the sky, crystal clear to see. Here's some other footage from the evening sky of Ukraine. You can hear the sirens wailing, and you can see the flames lighting up the sky. This, again, from a port city. You're able to see what is happening there, and it is terrifying let's go ahead and watch night become day as what I can only assume to be munition shells explode. Warfare, war is going on in Ukraine right now. It is in stark relief. You can watch the actual gunfire in this clip, and it's startling. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to know that we take absolutely no joy in showing you this. I am a journalist, and we have an obligation to bring you the news. The news right now is that Ukraine, at this very moment, the sky in Ukraine looks like this. This is a shot from seconds ago inside of Ukraine. Massive black plumes of smoke. Clearly, massive munitions have hit strategic locations in Ukraine, and there is burning in flames in the sky. The sun is just coming up in Ukraine. Where did the Russians hit? These are all the cities you can see on your screen all around the country. These are massive cities. Kiev is right here. You can see here in the city of Odessa and along the coastline, you had major incursions and invasions, even an amphibious landing, it has been reported. The amphibious landing, so ladies and gentlemen, we flipped this around. Please forgive me. We flipped it so that it would be correct when it's shown reversed in the screen. You can see here the cities in Ukraine from Breaking News Online. The cities in Ukraine that are under heavy Russian fire. We want you to pray for Ukraine. We are believers on this channel. We do not want people to be hurt. We do not want people to be injured here, and this is time for leadership. How are our leaders reacting? Well, here's Joe Biden when he was running for president, saying that Vladimir Putin would be scared of him.
Because Putin knows if his days of tyranny and trying to intimidate the United States and those in Eastern Europe are over. I'm going to stand up to him. He's a bully, just like the president. And I know he doesn't want me to be president, but to tell you what, when I'm president, things are going to change.
We got quite a few more viewers here. If you're joining us, ladies and gentlemen, Ukraine is under attack. Virtually all major cities in Ukraine are under attack. A state of martial law has been imposed or is going to be imposed. We have multiple videos of extreme fighting taking place at night as the sky is lit up with gunfire and explosions. This was the sound of nighttime in Ukraine. Going on right now. So, why is this happening? I think it's very important to state this is happening because of weakness. This is happening because of the feckless pretenders who are in charge. They're pretenders, ladies and gentlemen. And I just need to state very clearly, Ukraine is on fire because Ukraine decided to trust neoliberalism and globalists with their protection. It wasn't smart. They decided that this man, 81 million people decided this man be smart to put him in office. He said, Putin doesn't want me to be president, this is Joe Biden during the campaign, because I'm the only person who would go toe-to-toe with him. That's right, a lot of bluster from a man who can barely keep his own flatulence and his own teeth inside of his own face and body, respectively. Joe Biden, where is Joe Biden? Well, we haven't seen him, so we don't know. It would just be speculation. Joe Biden says that he may make a statement sometime tomorrow afternoon. I'm not sure if it's midnight my time right now. Yes, it just clicked midnight. So sometime to this afternoon, I guess if you're being literal, Joe Biden may make a statement. That's all we know from Joe Biden as of this moment. What's going on? We're not exactly sure with Joe Biden. What's going on with Donald Trump? Donald Trump was on television almost instantaneously as this happened. We have a relatively important, like incredibly important call with Donald Trump on Fox News. I think you have to watch it. I think it's really, really important, ladies and gentlemen. And I gotta tell you, perhaps maybe the largest mistake in American political history is the destabilization of the 2020 election. A lot of people said it was getting back to normal. If this is what you think normal is, if this is the world that you want, you can count me out. Here's what Donald Trump had to say on Fox News live as this was happening in Ukraine. Where is the president? Florida?
Your reaction to Putin's threat if any Western nation or any nation intervenes with this Russian military action?
Well, this is something that should have never happened. This would not have happened during my administration. In fact, some people were saying, why did this take place over the last 4 years during our administration? And it didn't for a very good reason, and I'll explain that to you someday. But it wouldn't have taken place, and it wouldn't have taken place.
What is that reason? I want to know.
And it's a very sad thing for the world, for the country, and it's certainly very sad for a lot of people that are going to be needlessly killed.
Well, give us a sense, though. I mean, you know Vladimir Putin. I mean, you've dealt with him. How would you have avoided this conflict? How would you have prevented these series of events from unfolding?
Well, look, I do know him, and I know him very well. We've had many times together. I got along with him fantastically. Despite the fact that I shut down Nord Stream 2, nobody would have heard of Nord Stream 2 if it weren't for me. I'm the one that shut it down. And I'm the one that told Angela, you're doing a terrible thing by doing this. And they were going to get 75%, not 30%, 75% of their energy from Nord Stream 2. It was ridiculous. If you remember, I told you this privately once. I sent them a white flag, a flag of surrender. I gave it to, she said, what does this mean? I said, that means you'll surrender. As far as Russia's concerned, they've had a lot of conflict over the centuries. So I think that it's a terrible thing. The way it started, I really don't believe you wanted to do this initially. I think you wanted to do something and negotiate, and it just got worse and worse. And then he saw the weakness. And you know, it really started, I think, with the weakness in Afghanistan, the way they pulled out of Afghanistan. I really believe that's where he started thinking, you know, he can do this. Because when he saw pathetic.
Yeah, President Trump, I want to just ask you this. We understand that President Biden is monitoring the situation at the White House now and is going to talk to the G7 tomorrow. And he's going to talk to the nation at some point tomorrow as well. Your reaction to that approach?
I don't think he's monitoring. I think he's probably sleeping right now. But this is a terrible thing. This is something that should have never happened. I really believe that it was Afghanistan when he looked at that horrible, weak pullout, one of the worst, when the military gets pulled out first, when people, our soldiers are dying and horribly wounded. And, you know, when we leave $75, $85 billion worth of equipment, you know, they're one of the biggest sellers of military equipment in the world right now. They're selling the equipment that we left at $85 billion. And we left hostages behind, a lot of hostages, more than anybody knew. I think when they saw that, Laura, I think that they said, maybe we can do this.
President Trump, the name friendship between President Xi and President Putin is of deep concern now, finally, I should say, to the State Department, which described this as a potentially destructive force in the world. Gone as the hope for some new world order where, you know, everyone's going to get along if you have our two major adversaries now working in concert, seemingly against the West. Did you did you think that that was an important dynamic to disrupt when you were president, given what a obviously powerful alliance that could end up being?
Well, I had a good relationship with both, but it was hurt by the Russia hoax,
Yes.
which was a total
Correct.
hoax. You see what happened with Durham and
Yes.
those reports and other reports, including Mueller. It was just a made-up hoax, and it really hurt our country. But despite the hoax, I had a good relationship, and I had a very good relationship with President Xi of China, other than he wasn't happy about the fact that I was tariffing and taxing the hell out of him, which somebody had to do finally after so many years. But I had a very good relationship. You know, as a young man growing up, I always heard that the worst thing that could happen is if you drive those two countries together.
Yes.
And it really started with Obama and
This is what's
energy.
going
He
on
drove
right
them together because one needed the energy and the other one needed the money. He drove them together, and Biden put them. I kept them apart. And Biden now it looks like it's a great love fest, and it's a very bad thing. It's the fact, and I think you could probably add Iran into it too, because they're including Iran also. It's a very bad thing that happened. Very, very bad.
How critical is it now? I'm sorry to interrupt, but how critical is it now that this administration, even with all of its climate change, fanaticism, that it moves to lower the cost of energy for Americans, given how we've already seen a huge run-up right up to this conflict for a variety of reasons, but this is obviously not helping. Do you think this might break their desire to kill oil and gas, at least for a short period of time?
No, because
Get ready
he ended
for
up
$7 and $10 gasoline. Get ready.
A lot of the
It's
energy
coming.
and the oil, he ended leases.
Are you ready for $7 gasoline?
The environment. This whole environmental thing has gotten out of control. China doesn't adhere to it. Russia doesn't adhere to it. India doesn't adhere to it. Nobody adheres to it but the United States. He's driving us out of business. He doesn't know what the hell he's doing, and it's a disgrace. It's an absolute disgrace.
If you're just joining
we have
us,
to get back into the
this is
real
President
world
Trump
now. We have
live on
energy
Fox.
at a level that nobody's ever seen. We would have been double the size of Saudi Arabia and Russia combined in 1 year. We were already bigger, and we were energy independent for the first time, probably ever. They
President
say
Trump
it's
live on
72 years,
Fox.
probably ever. We were
President
energy
Trump,
independent, and he blew it.
We're just
Ukraine-
learning that U.S. officials are looking at a potential amphibious landing now in Odessa, Ukraine. Again, a month ago or 3 weeks ago, all the so-called experts were saying that Putin was probably going to just be content with staying in those separatist regions. But I think given what's unfolded, sadly, with a lot of weakness in the United States, they just decided to go for it. I mean, it looks like they're going for it. And where does that leave the NATO alliance?
I think you're exactly right. I think that's what happened. He was going to be satisfied with a peace, and now he sees the weakness and the incompetence of the stupidity of this administration.
Yes.
And as an American, I'm angry about it.
You
and
should
I'm
be.
saddened by it.
I'm
And
angry.
it all happened because of a rigged election. This would have never happened. And that includes inflation, and that includes millions of people pouring in on a monthly basis, far more than 3 million people. And they're coming from 129 different countries. We have no idea what's happening, and they're destroying our country.
President Trump, we actually have this. Hold on, I'm so sorry to interrupt you, but we have we're going to the Pentagon, I believe. Ukraine. Sorry.
Ladies and
Ukraine is
gentlemen,
speaking at the UN.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is President Trump uncensored directly on Fox News, speaking about everything from why this is happening, his relationships with Vladimir Putin and Xi Jinping. Trust me, the world was a safer, more secure place under President Trump. The world was safer under Trump. Life was better under President Trump. That is demonstrable and empirical, and now Ukraine suffers. It suffers because of weakness. My team is telling me that there is new information and new videos and new images from CNN. Here is an image right now of a massive explosion inside of Ukraine. It looks like at an oil refinery. Can you see it? This is at an oil refinery right now. It is sunrise in Ukraine. So what we will be bringing you is breaking news. Here's an updated map of Ukraine and the attacks being reported inside of Ukraine. Again, if you are just joining our live, Ukraine is under attack. It is under active attack, and Russian forces are assaulting dozens of cities. You can see them on the map right here on the screen. Those assaults are aerial and amphibious, and those attacks are horrifying. Various footage here shows how the sky was lit up and that air raid sirens are going off in Ukraine. Flames light up the sky. You can see massive destruction here inside of a video sent to us by our producers. Here is a huge mushroom cloud that was blown up in the sky. We have no idea what this, we have no idea what that is, what that giant light is in the sky, but there are now active air raids going on inside of Ukraine. The Russians are fully attacking Ukraine. And this is, again, a shocking video. Night becomes day as the entire city is illuminated. The entire city is illuminated by what we can only assume to be massive mortar and artillery rounds, the gunfire going off in all directions inside of an attack on Ukraine. Watch. We take absolutely no joy in showing you this footage. We want peace. We do not want war. But ladies and gentlemen, war is brought upon us by weak people. War is brought upon us by weak leaders, by neoliberalism, and by their abuse of not just Ukraine, but of the entire global order. What you are watching right now is the collapse of the United Nations, the collapse of NATO, the collapse of the world order as it is been known. Ukraine was a nation that saw an enormous amount of corruption. Ukraine was the #1 donator to the Clinton Foundation. Ukraine is where Joe Biden's cokehead kid went to get a bag. Ladies and gentlemen, Ukraine was a plaything for the global elites, and that wasn't all it was. I'm not trying to defame the good people of this nation, but ladies and gentlemen, you've got to put into stark relief precisely what has been happening in Ukraine over the last many years. It's been a deeply, deeply corrupt nation, and now what you're going to be able to see here is the air raid sirens, inside of Kiev. Air raid sirens. The world is a more dangerous place when you have weak, feckless, syphilitic, unserious leaders Russia is not going to unleash war and conquer Ukraine. We are protecting the regions. That is what, this is directly from Russia Today. This is what they are saying. Sky illuminations around Ukraine. You can see there in the distance, do you see the explosions? The cost of weakness, ladies and gentlemen, is always human suffering. The cost of feckless leaders who are not strong is always human suffering. And the cost of conspiracy theories is always human suffering. Hillary Clinton and the Democrat Party for the last 2 or 3 decades have been shopping conspiracy theories about Russia. Russiagate was made up. It was a hoax. When you create hoaxes about other countries, you poison the well and make it impossible to deal with those countries. You must understand the effects that Russiagate had. If you were a Russiagator, if you were a conspiracy theorist, seek help. You and those people involved in the Russiagate hoax, hang your head in a bag. You have blood on your hands. If you voted for Joe Biden, enjoy your $10 gasoline. If you voted for Joe Biden, you also should look at the images on your screen right now and recognize that you did this. We live inside of a real world. Donald Trump talked about it. We live in a real world with real consequences. It's time for actual adults to come back into office. It is scary when you do not have adults in charge, when people are not able to do business, when you are led by a syphilitic, old, diseased, broken, neoliberal world order that has destroyed so much of my future. The America and the world that I grew up in the 80s and 90s no longer exists because of these jackals. I am sick of people saying that Donald Trump's skin color was wrong and that his tweets were mean, and so they sent him away. I'm tired of it. The world was safer and better under Trump. Donald Trump was a madman, but in a good way. Donald Trump did meet with Kim Jong-un. Donald Trump did meet with the Chinese leaders and with Vladimir Putin. No wars under Trump. No wars. No collapse. No chaos. This is the fourth turning, ladies and gentlemen. The fourth turning is the look at the perspective on human beings and the arcs of history. This is the time of extreme chaos. We are entering into the fourth turning. Now is going to be a time of destruction and chaos. The rebuilding will come after that, and it will be a new world. Are you prepared for it? Are you prepared for $10 gasoline? Are you prepared for the collapse of the neoliberal world order? The Clinton Foundation, Joe Biden, Barack Obama, the United Nations, all of that is going poof, goodbye, ashes. It's not working, and people are going to see it. So the question that you must ask yourself is, what are we going to do about it? I believe Americans were already sickened by the Biden administration. They were already intending on punishing Democrats at the polls, and I think now this makes it inevitable. It will be 100-seat majority. It will be control of the Senate. We must, I personally believe, rend control of the Senate Republicans from Mitch McConnell. We need a strong leader who will act decisively. I also believe that there are some very good motions lined up inside of the United States House. But if you're going to save civilization and save this nation, we need young people with vigor and gunpowder in their gut, iron in their spine, brass in their balls, in order to make and save America. That's what's going to happen. Do we have the guts to do it? And that is the question. Tonight, you are watching the absolute cost of weakness. No doubt people were killed tonight in Ukraine. We take absolutely no joy in that. We are saddened by it and sickened by it. We do not want people to get hurt. This is what the airspace looks like around Ukraine. You can see that it is for some reason I lost my display here. All right, ladies and gentlemen.
After his grandfather's death, Mark and his family carefully restored the antique.
Lost my display there. I was going to show you the airfields around Ukraine, airplanes around Ukraine. There are no airplanes flying over Ukraine right now. Horrific videos of large explosions taking place. I can show them to you. This is life in Ukraine. There you go. That's life. That's weakness. That is what weakness costs you. Donald Trump on Ukraine.
Right now, which is a situation between Russia and Ukraine. It's a situation that a lot of people, a lot of Republicans think, and Ukrainians think, that President Biden has made worse. If in this situation, all of a sudden you were handed the gavel, you can run the whole situation, what exactly would you do today to fix it?
Well, it's a tricky question because it wouldn't have happened. It wouldn't have happened. This was not even thinkable. And China wouldn't have happened. And you know what's going to happen with Taiwan now and lots of other places.
What do you think's going to happen?
I think that after the Olympics, it will be a very interesting period of time because they see the way we withdrew from Afghanistan, the horrible way, not the fact that we did, because I was the one that got it down to 2,000 soldiers, but we were getting out with strength and dignity and the equipment and no death. What happened is terrible in the world to watch.
There's a cost. There's a cost to weakness. And here's the MyPillow ad of Joe Biden having a sound night's sleep. Ladies and gentlemen, the breaking news right now is that the military bases of the Ukrainian military bases and inside of Ukraine have been decimated, and that martial law is being imposed in Ukraine. We've shown you in this live that Ukraine is currently on fire. We take no joy in showing you that. We are saddened. We do not want people to get hurt. We want people to live peacefully and happily and securely. But you only get security through strength. You do not get security through weakness, and you do not get security through handing evil people in this world everything that they want. You do not get security either also through making up conspiracy theories and hoaxes about other nations and using them to your advantage. It is evil. It should be disqualifying. Hillary Clinton should hang her head in a bag tonight. Joe Biden, shame on you. 81 million people, shame on all of you, ladies and gentlemen. This is the result of weakness. Enjoy your $10 gas. Enjoy your food scarcity. Enjoy your collapsed world order. This is what you get when you took the man who was holding it all together and sent him away because you didn't like his skin color and because his tweets were mean. I think there's some people inside of dozens of Ukrainian cities that could use some mean tweets right now. That's all I got. That's all I got for today, ladies and gentlemen. For tonight, we will be back live with more live updates. Head of Ukrainian's foreign ministry calls for Russia to be disconnected from SWIFT. Complete isolation of Russia, weapons and equipment for Ukraine. We'll see. Russia is right now, just in case you are wondering exactly what a clown world we live in, Russia is right now the president of the UN Security Council. We live in a clown world. We'll be back on later live for a fully produced show to show you precisely how much clown, show you more updates from clown world. Really, truly unbelievable, embarrassing. Russia is the president. Russia is the president of the United Nations Security Council. Ah! God help us, truly. I'm a believer. God help us, truly. Please subscribe to the channel. Please click like. Please subscribe to the channel. We're going to be really focusing on this channel, growing a lot. We have a lot of big plans, and we want to be able to bring you the breaking news as it happens with our own raw style and our own honest style. Real news here, and we'll be back soon. God bless you all.